Hi everyone, welcome to your 15-minute mobility snack. Today we're going to be focusing mainly on the spine. We're going to take it nice and easy. This is a great entry point for your spinal work. We're going to work slowly through our car. So if you're uncomfortable with your knees being in this amount of knee bend, what you can do is you can place some towels or you can place something underneath there to sit back on. Also, if this is too deep of a seat for you, you can place something under your butt in order to prop you up a little bit higher so that it's a little bit more comfortable. And also you can place something under this joint. So you've got three spaces here that you can create a little bit of space in order for you to do this more successfully. Also, last thing, we can also go up on the toes. If your toes feel comfortable being in this position, then you can go into this position. Totally fine. I'm going to start from facing you, and then I'll demonstrate as well from the side. So first of all, we're going to bring our hands across our chest, and what we're going to do is bring your chin to the chest. From here, we're going to imagine we have a big belt buckle here on the front of our pants, and we're going to try to bring that belt buckle towards our face, and we're going to try to bring our face towards the belt buckle. So we're going to create this C with our spine. So from there, we're going to just tuck that under. Notice what you feel here. Do you feel a tightening through here? Do you feel tightening through the spine? What exactly do you feel in that position? Just take note of that. Try to squeeze as much out of that as you can. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Squeeze a little bit more out. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, round a little bit more through the spine. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate that again from the side. So we're in this position here. We've got our chin to the chest. We're taking that belt buckle, tucking up so that it faces towards our face. And we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale. Try to bring a little bit more roundness through the spine. Deep breath in. Exhale. Round through the spine a little bit more. Okay? From here, now that we've found that full flexion, or as much flexion as we have, we're going to begin to untuck that belt buckle in the front there. So we're going to start working our way from the bottom to the top of our spine and segment. Okay, now depending on how much control you have of your spine, that's going to determine how much you're able to actually move each individual piece and segment along the spine. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring that belt buckle and face it towards the floor. So that should change how you feel in the front of the legs there. And then think of each vertebrae moving up the front. So think of there being these strings pulling each vertebrae through your body and forward as you move into extension. One piece at a time through the mid-back. Now you're at your sternum level, so you should be string like pulling through each part of your sternum, right around the rib cage. You don't have more than one rib cage. If you had more than one rib cage, you'd be an alien motherfucker. So we're going to bring it all the way up into extension. Now the tag on the back of your shirt should be facing the tag on the back of your pants. That's one of Nat's favorite cues. He likes tags. Actually, you know what's funny? My little girl likes tags. For some reason, she like tags on everything. She like sniffs it out, finds those tags. So now we're in full extension there. We're going to begin to go back the other way. So first we're going to round at the front. So imagine a string pulling you through the back as the front of your body begins to collapse forward. We're still keeping the hip untucked at the back, or at the hip, at the bottom. We rounding through our lower back, and tuck. Good. So Flexion and extension are the fundamental movements of the spine. So it's important that we work on those things first and foremost. We're going to do another set, but this time we're going to start our movement from that, that C position. So we're going to start from that flexion. We're going to work our way from top down and then down up. Okay? I'm going to change positions here this time, just so it's slightly different. My toe, to be honest with you, my toes got tired. Shit's been a long time being on my toes like that. Anyway, so we're going to go into flexion as much as we can. And we're going to start at the top. So your belt buckle's pointing up towards your face. We're going to start unlocking at the top. Now, this is significantly harder. Imagine that string is pulling your chest forward and through into extension. You're working your way down the spine. And untucking the hip flaps. Good. Then we're going to tuck under, round, all the way up into that C again. Okay? So now you've got your flexion and extension of the spine, which are, like I said, the fundamental movements of the spine. Now that you've got the flexion and extension down, let's work on rotation. All right? You can do a few more reps of that flexion and extension if you feel like, or as you're adding that sort of stuff to your daily routine or your activities. It's great for you to just experience it as much as possible. The more you can do this stuff, the more you can start giving those inputs to the spine, the better. If I give you one thing, it'd be a healthy spine. All right. So now we're going to go into that C shape again. Now that we're in that C shape, we're going to rotate. So we're going to twist towards our left. Once we hit our end point, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Try to squeeze a little bit more out of there. My obliques are firing like crazy. Yours should too. Rotate back to the center. Pass through. Other side. Once you hit that end point, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Squeeze a little bit more rotation. Obliques firing. Good. Back to the middle. Pass through. Hit your end point. Deep breath in. Exhale. Squeeze a little bit more. Good. Back to the middle. Rotate. Other side. Deep breath in. Exhale. Squeeze a little bit more rotation. Back to the middle. Pass through. Other side. Hit that end point. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Squeeze a bit more. Good. Back to center. Pass through last time. Deep breath in. Exhale. Squeeze. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Good. Back to the middle. And relax. Awesome. All right. So now that you've experienced a little bit of flexion extension, we're going to add a little bit of rotation there. We're going to add another component to this. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to, once we're in rotation, we're going to work on some lateral flexion. This time I'm going to use a yoga block. So a yoga block magically appeared in my hands. I don't know where the hell this came from. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this underneath my sit bones, and I'm going to sit back on it. Okay? This is going to act as a landmark for us. Okay? So my ankles are right next to it. My sit bones are sitting right on top of it. We're going to go back into that C shape. Once we're in that C shape, we're going to rotate. Once we hit our end point of rotation, we're going to laterally flex. And I want you to get to the end point of your lateral flexion, and I want you to stay there. So the elbow here is in the rib cage, so you're burying that deep down into the rib cage. What I want you to take notice of is, does your right sit bone feel lighter on the block than your left? If so, try to shift that so that that sit bone is even. That may increase the stretch, or that may reduce the amount of lateral flexion you have. Also, what I want you to pay particular attention to is your shoulder hiked up like so? If so, push that shoulder back down. Pull that shoulder blade into your back pocket. Okay, now that you've achieved that, try to squeeze out a little bit more lateral flexion. And from here, we're going to flex back up, rotate, laterally flex. Remember to pull that shoulder blade into your back pocket. Sit bone is sitting down. Remember, we want to keep the weight as even as possible on our sit bones. Back to center. Rotate through. Laterally flex. Pull that shoulder blade into the back pocket. Flex. Rotate through. Laterally flex. Continuing to pull that shoulder blade into the back pocket. Don't let it hike up near the ear. Laterally flex. And rotate back. All right. So that's your 15-minute mobility snack for today. We just worked on flexion, extension of the spine, as well as some rotation and lateral flexion of the spine. You can work on rotation and extension as well. That's just the final part of the overall CARs, but this is a great way to kind of break up what you may be doing with a normal CARs routine and break that into components. So our CARs routine takes us through the full movement, flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension and rotation all the way to the other side and around. This time we're giving you an opportunity to break those into little chunks and work on those little chunks. It's good to do the whole thing as a whole, but it's also good to practice those little bits and work and refine those little bits of movement. That way you can focus in on those key points and focus in on how your body feels in those specific spaces. All right, thank you for watching. Upgrade your shit.